Excellent. So, good evening, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon. It depends from where you are checking in to see this second webinar of the season of Lucentum Basketball Hub, a second roundtable. And after we did it with the coaches, with Don Showalter, the USA coordinator of the national team coaches of United States, and Lucas Pivola, and also with Coach Neto. This time we go upstairs. We go in the front office, and I'm very, very excited. I must say this because I'm a big fan of these gentlemen, and I'm so grateful for their time today to spend it with us. And I cannot wait this conversation. I know all four of them, and it's a pleasure to have them with us today. And we have the right man, we have the insider to go deeply in the hot topics. So thank you so much, Donata Urbonas from basketnews.com. Big fan of their job and how they're gathering the community. Amazing. And speaking about community, we are many here, proud members of the BN Plus community. And on the round table, we have Chechu Mulero from Cedevita Olimpija Ljubljana. We have Nicola Alberani from Strasbourg and Lucas Grabauskas from Lietkabelis. So, gentlemen, thank you so much for being here with us. And I cannot wait. So, Donatas, you do your best. The floor is yours. The mic is yours. Let's enjoy a great roundtable conversation with the sports directors.
Janot, thanks a lot for bringing these basketball minds together. Hopefully, I won't gonna ruin this show. But for the warm up for everyone, I have a question, quite short question. In one sentence, who do you think a sports director #1 job is today compared to what it was like 5 or 10 years ago?
I would start. I would say manage emergencies.
Okay, I will add. I think that ensure the process. That process is way more and more important every year, I think.
Okay, I want to say one thing. For me, this is the first step in this position. We have to know it's different than 10 years ago. One thing is the club, one thing is the team, and we are working for the club, not for the team.
What do you mean in terms of like saying you're working for the club, not for the team?
Yeah, this is the biggest difference between the coach and the sport director. The sport director is a person for the club, of the club. The coach is a person only for the first team. We want the same, but the responsibilities and the way are different, This is okay. I'm talking about personal things. This is very clear, For example, in 2002, the club is one thing, the team is other thing, And the goal in the first team is only try to win the games. Club is different, In 2002 in Valladolid, I was assistant coach 8 years, I'm from Valladolid, my club, my city. I knew everybody there in the club. And in that moment, they put me like a head coach. I was head coach, but I was thinking more in the club than in the team. Okay, after that was disaster. But this is the responsibility from the sport director to know. Okay, it's not easy, but one thing is the club, and other thing is the first team. The first team is into the club, but the coach has to think only about the first team. This is the other problem when the coaches wants to control the club.
Yeah, and I believe you all guys signed up for this, building the roster or making the team was this like childhood dream to be involved in this process, not to deal with the emergencies, not to deal with the process and day-to-day problems that you have. So I want to bring back you to the fun part, and we want to hear your mind, the way your brains work, while we try to build the team, the roster. And let's say NBA Europe project started. Let's say you were hired by one of these teams, and you can select from all the players available that are now playing in Europe. Who's your number one pick from all current players available in Europe that you start building your team roster around, and why?
I'm ready. I know the answer. Alpha Diallo.
Who start?
Alpha Diallo.
Why Alpha Diallo?
Because it reflects the identity that I like on the court. It's still underestimated. And these type of bastards, in a good way, you find less and less. You have to compete every 2-3 days. It's very rare to have this. For me, he's a special player and still didn't get the recognition he should. Then, you know, I'd say it's about intangibles also, because the tangibles, these you can find. It's easier to find a guy that will come and play 20 pick and rolls, shoot 15 times, but to do everything that he does, quite rare. This is at least for me. But this is about the identity, the process, how to set, which tone you want to set in your roster. Also, it gives an identity clearly.
That's a very interesting parameter, because you mentioned it in the end, but like from your pick, I could clearly understand it's all about the mentality standard you want to set for the entire of the roster. So that's a very interesting pick.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll continue then. Actually, when I heard the question, my first idea, to be very honest, was I would start from the coach, not from the player. But we talk about NBA, Europe. So which part goes first, Europe or NBA? So if we go for the NBA part, but it's still anyway Europe, I think I would go for Marko Guduric.
Okay, why?
I think the profile of the player who can fit in both, let's say, both NBA and in EuroLeague, and it's something for me like the profile of the player, which which is complete for both scenarios. So that was my like first player on my mind who can can give a lot, and also you Donatas mentioned mentality. I think that I would still try to keep that EuroLeague, Europe mentality even in the NBA environment.
And probably a glue guy also fits
Yeah,
his
exactly.
profile as well. So he
Exactly.
fits into any situation basically, and he can be an upgrade. Okay,
Exactly.
interesting one.
For me, the first pick, more or less with the same goals than then, will be Facundo Campach. Facundo Campach. For leadership, personality, he's good in both part of the court. For me, this personality is incredible, and this is like one coach on the court, For me, if I can, I will start with him.
Interesting picks. And the second question, since unfortunately we're not living in a fantasy world, the owner comes and says, "Hey, Nicola, Lucas, Chechu, we're a bit tight with the budget, so you have to choose. You either go with a star player that's above our usual financial capabilities, but you won't have a big budget to get the coach you want, or you go with a more expensive coach that you want, but less money for the roster." I guess we heard the answer from Lucas already, right?
Pretty yes.
Why coach is so important to you?
Maybe it's very connected to my personal experience. That okay, I'm in professional basketball full-time 8 years, and basically whole time was with the one coach, and we have a bond, we have a 100% trust of each other, and one of my mentors, Mauricio Gherardini, said a good sentence that coach is like your driver, and you have to believe him when he drives your car. So I have that mentality. I'm not sure is that mentality for the future for the NBA. That's what we started. But the first idea in my mind was the coach because it's my personal experience, and I still believe that coach, can influence a lot and can attract a lot, and we should build a roster together. It's not one man show or general manager, president, whatever. Coach must be involved, and I like the concept that coaches know the numbers, know what we can do and what we cannot do. So I still believe that it's very important part of the whole picture.
I would go opposite because we are in NBA, you said. So I would go for a star player because once you can get a star player, you are well set off. But this, I think, also opens the debate to a wider point that honestly I didn't understand yet. At some point, they have to send here some players because they cannot pretend that they do the NBA Europe with Sergio Llull playing at 40 years old. So who they will send, how they will send them. Maybe my colleagues or you know more, but the politics in the NBA, the idea is to retain the talent, and they create these multiple contracts, and everybody's a G League team nowadays. But now you have to release some talents, my friend. Otherwise, it's EuroLeague with the NBA label. So this is going to be a very interesting point that honestly I didn't understand yet.
Okay, but I have a question for you then. If it's NBA Europe and it's a new project, new teams, let's say, what do you think in Europe? It's easier to build the identity with the players or with the coach? Because building the identity of the club, in my opinion, it's extremely important.
I agree with you, no, but in fact, I said the player only because we're talking NBA Europe. If it said EuroLeague, I would go for the coach immediately. But I imagine that everything that happens there will come also here, and you have some coaches that are alive there in the business just because they are good to manage star players, and they're not really putting much into the game. But I agree with you, huh? We say the opposite, but I agree.
Yeah, I mean, it's a question. Plus,
we are in the same line. I think that.
Yeah, Chechu, continue. You are older than me, so.
No. Sorry, Lucas. No, I agree. If we have to put all the bigger money in the coach, I will put the biggest money possible in the coach. Especially in Europe, for me, is the most important person into the structure in the club, for sure, and they will have the key of the team, So never can sign one player if the coach is not agreeing with me, They and I have to build the team around the coach for this coach. So in Europe, for me, it's very clear. The most important part is the coach.
I hear word culture a lot of times in this roundtable. And let's say when the training camp starts, when you have your full roster set, you're entering the first practice or the first training camp. How and who sets the culture? What are the main rules of your culture that you're trying to set?
I think you have to agree with the coach earlier, but also you need some key players to put it on the ground. Otherwise, you risk only to be blah, blah, blah. But to have some guys that really transmit this on the court. I can give you an example that for me is very valuable. Juventus is the best team in Italy for soccer. And what the GM used to do there is to call Chiellini, Buffon, that we all know, hey, I'm going to sign this guy. Is he fit for our culture or no? And they say yes or no. So it gives a line. Of course, you need to have high-level players that play beyond themselves and are not worried about their own spot. But still, for me, you need players to fit. Otherwise, risk to be only didactic.
By the way, have you ever consulted your players for some signings that you were planning?
When I had very few, honestly, because I don't have the luck to work with the Sergio Llull or this level. But when I have few, I said, does this guy fit us or no? But you do when you have a special team.
Me too. Now in Cedevita Olimpija, these 2 seasons, in this period, we signed, I think, that 21 players. I only made 1 call, and this call was to Ale Nikolic. So, okay, he knows the club, he knows the coach, only to him, you know. No, I don't like to call to, especially to the players. Only the last option to get information. No, I don't like.
Usually I don't, actually, but my situation is a bit different. Many players are still my age, and I don't have many players that I trust, but I have few that, you know, we were working together many years, or I don't know, many situations we went through. So sometimes I do, but I'll also try to avoid, because my first contact is a head coach or a GM, actually, of the team, sports director, whatever. So I try to go through that.
Have you ever felt?
Sorry, Donatas, you are
Sure.
sorry, Donatas. You asked it about players in our team or players in general.
In your team, let's say your core players, your captain.
So yeah. Okay. Players in other team, I can tell, you know. I can ask them, you know, because they especially because I have confidence with them. And okay, all this history, I have the feeling that some of them could be good coaches or could be involved in basketball for the future. Sometimes I have big mistakes, but okay. From my team in Cedevita Olimpija, only I had 1 call. I told to you to Ali Nicolis to ask about 1 player.
And do you guys felt any benefits from these conversations? Because usually players think that they know the game better than anybody else, when the head coach, when the sports director, because they're playing and they know their business the best. But from this track record that you have, bigger or shorter, did you feel benefits of these conversations and sharing the kind of some I don't know, power of building the team and just sharing that responsibility?
I think that
it was perfect for me. With Ali Nicolis, was perfect for me. It was key conversation.
For example, I talked to the players, with some of them, let's say with the captain Lipkevičius during the summer. My wife is angry on me because we talk a lot on phone, but it's not often that we talk about, let's say, the names, but we talk about the type of the players, what we need, and so on and so on. And it's a discussion. It's more a piece of the puzzle that, okay, at least we know some information. But the captain is like, for me, he's a special one, you know, that I share a bit more than with the others, you know. So at least, you know, you know that's okay. From the player side, they think like this, but then when you decide with the coach, when you discuss with the GM, whatever, you know, it's different story, and it's not like a factor to make a decision or not. But to know some information and to know what they think, I think it's not a bad thing, actually.
If you trust the player and the person that is behind the player, I think is beneficial. But then it's very rare. I do it only, again, we started talking about the culture. So when you have a player like Nikolic, for example, that is a high-level mind, then you can do it. But in general, it's a mistake if you do it, because normally a player has only the his own vision. Even the coach has his own individual vision. Only the GM, as Chechu say, works for the future. You can say for the club more than for the team. So as a vision that pass beyond the season, the 5 games, the 10 games, the coach has to win tomorrow. He doesn't care if we go bankrupt in 2 weeks. So it's very different.
But Donatas, when I call it to Nikolic, sorry, because connection is not good. When I call it to Nikolic, I didn't ask him about one teammate. I asked him about one opponent player. How was his feeling playing against this guy? And he told me, it was very difficult to me to play against this. So if you want this, I think that he's going to be great for us. He's playing with us this year.
Yeah, and what's also interesting and what makes sense that usually when you have this trust and confidence in a player, usually it's a local player. And in some regions, we have very different approach how to build a team. Some prefer to form a core from better but more expensive local players who know the culture, who know the country, the mentality. Maybe you can rely on them more like a long term. But some other prefer on spending on more expensive imports to build a core around the imports and trusting in cheaper role players, local players. From your experience, guys, what do you think? Which works better? Does it align to the region you're working in, or you can have the same approach, basically working in every country?
I think it's evolving. I will start with my experience because I came to France 6 years ago. It was the coolest league for me because we have these amazing players. They stay here. They love the league. And now in these 6 years, French players realize they don't want to play in France no more because they are underpaid, because there is the taxes. So now more and more they want to go abroad, and they're right. So for me, what you have to find right nowadays in France, unless you are a top team, is to find culture, players that give you a legacy, an identity, and you build around them with talent. Because French and talent is not in Strasbourg. Some is in Paris or Monaco. Not even in Bourg, maybe. So it's difficult every day.
Okay, I will talk from Lithuanian.
It's very difficult, Donatas. This question is very difficult. Okay, my idea in Cedevita Olimpija is more or less was clear. We wanted to have 13 players, and 6 of these 13 players Slovenian players. But at the end, this season was totally impossible because about especially the price, because some young players they have different mentality that I like, and I don't know how it's in other countries, but for us it's not easy to play 2 competitions like EuroLeague and EuroCup because the game, the kind of game is totally different. We play different basketball in EuroLeague than in EuroCup. Okay, it's very simple to say. In one league we play ping pong, in other league we play tennis. So the best example for us was last year. We started the season starting with Martinez Geben and Derek Beide, and was not good, but they are very good players. Even Geben was great player in Spain. And we finished it playing with Stepanovic and Danilo Tasic. So this is not easy, but I prefer to have, in any case, as much as possible local players in my team,
I would say the same, actually, that when we started the conversation and I mentioned the word identity, to build the identity with the right local players is way easier than the foreigners, in my opinion, because the local players, if they're right ones, they really care about the club, about the future, and so on. So to have the core of local players, in my opinion, is very important. Okay, there are maybe the countries which are not basketball countries, and those local players don't have it inside, so it's another story. But in Lithuania, until we have enough local players, and obviously it's less and less, to be honest, so we still have, in my opinion, we still have to go as a club this way.
Lucas knows it very well. At least in Lithuania, it is this theory that you can rely more on local players because you know that they're gonna stay committed until the very end of the season, and sometimes the season ends in June. And there is this thinking that especially when the international club competitions finish, like EuroCup, BCL, or the EuroLeague, you can see a decline of import players, the decline in their level, in their focus, in their motivation. And whether you rely more on imports or just in general, you want to have your import players that are around your local core committed and to perform at their maximum level. How do you guys try to make them, keep committed until the end? How do you try to motivate them when you feel like they might be missing home already and they might feel that it's not the end of the world, that season ends earlier and I will go home to meet my family and eventually if I even maybe potentially on a move to other team? How do you try to motivate them to be committed until the end of when the job is finished, actually?
This is the coach job. Nothing more. We cannot do anything. It's coach job. He has to be the first.
What if you see that the coach is not doing his job right, that he's missing something, and your import is not that motivated and he should be performing better? Is there anything like, is there any way you're trying to interrupt the process?
It is important. The most important decision is your election about the coach. I will try to don't assign one coach with different mentality than this, If he is the coach in Slovenia, for him, Slovenian Super Cup, Slovenian Cup, Slovenian League is not important, he is not my coach. But it is clear, coach job.
Maybe it's a coach job in the end of the season, as you Donatas mentioned, but it's our job to bring the right players in the beginning, and to have good enough scouting and try to avoid those situations that, okay, we sign a talented guy who stops playing in March or April and he is waiting for the end of the season. So I don't know the agenda of this roundtable, but it could be a great jump to the other topic of scouting, basically, because it all starts from that. So I'm very lucky that we didn't have many examples that the player is not motivated to finish the season, let's say, with the medal. And it all starts, 1 year before, basically, when you scout the player and you gather the information.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. It's not to step back, but the coach has the biggest part in that. What we can do is to cut the excuses for the players off the court and a bit coach the coach or help the relief of the coach so he's in the best mental condition and he feels the love, the support, and then he can do his job because at the end it's his job. We have 2-3 bullets in the season. We don't have many to go direct. Coach as the helm for this.
Probably you have to put him better, bigger bonus with the Slovenian national competition than the European competition. Lithuanian competition or French competition.
Also, with the
for both player and coach.
With the bonus, we can motivate. This I had in Roma and Avellino every day. The bonus, this works. Doesn't work for the budget, but it works for the motivation.
Great.
Are there any tweaks like that? I mean, maybe you tried something that actually worked. Bonus system, I don't know, additional benefits. Not sure how you can convince player, to motivate him every month or until the end of the season, but maybe something worked and actually works that you still keep doing.
Actually, in our club, it's
No.
not happening. There are bonuses in the contract, but there are not like the way that, okay, guys, win this game and you will get extra this kind of money. So, but maybe a year or two ago, there was a period which wasn't the best one, and it was actually before the playoffs. And I started talking to some people who are, let's say, older, smarter than me, and so on. And I was suggested that, guys, you just have to promise the bonuses, and that's it. And for me, it was like, okay, it's natural, but it's not happening in our environment. So I believe my older colleagues will tell more examples.
No, in our team, okay, and I have this philosophy. All the players they must have the same bonus, no big amount, and all the players with the same bonus at the end of the season about the final results. Nothing special about the amount, normal amount.
I think, it's something, it's more of a concept that it's good when you lose, that also the player lose money in this case, because it's a bonus. In Rome, 10 years ago, I had $1,000 everybody per game, whatever game, cup, non-cup, and that was nice. And then we went to Avellino and we implemented this. So also the office people had a bonus every game won. So when you lose 3-4 games in a row, they look at you like, It was not the same as the players, but still, this creates a mentality to perform. And if the internet of some guy is broken and you quit your job and you go to his apartment because maybe the manager is busy, I'm not there, and the internet of the player is more important than what you're doing now because of the victory. But this is Italian, and in Italy, it's only about the victory. In France, it's not like that. Winning is important, but it's not so crazy important like it's for us in Italy. It's different, very different.
You see, there are many tweaks to make something with the contract to motivate players, and sometimes there are tweaks to make something with the contract to spend less on some signings or just to outsmart the market. Let's say putting some exit clauses in the contract, putting short-term contracts. Or what do you think about these, let's say, out-of-the-box ideas, how to play out the contract? Or you try to always go with the guaranteed contracts, no exit clauses? How do you try to play out the markets with some circumstances like that sometimes can actually help you save money, or just to bring some better, higher quality players in expense of club's long-term goals in case, let's say, the player leaves the team just using and utilizing that exit clause that he has in his contract?
I can tell you my experience in Italy was very creative, but in France you cannot do nothing with this because France is very protective for the worker. You cannot do nothing. I tell you something maybe you guys don't know, but this I learned and still shocks me. In France, you cannot fire the coach.
Wow.
I don't know if you know this. You cannot fire because in France, just to give, and you cannot give short-term contracts. Doesn't exist because it's a violence to, let's say, to the worker. So in France, when you fire a coach, and now you will see, you have the contract is made, but I give you the money and you give me the work. If I fire you, I'm breaking the contract because I stop you, I prevent you to give him your side of the contract, so you can sue me. So when you fire a coach, you have to say, do you mind if I bring another guy? And he can say no. And then we have to find an agreement. That's why you will see there are all these cases, and I'm sure Chechu Zedzan can tell you very well, also because he won. They file how you can fire a coach. You have to create a case that he fought with a player, that he was bad with the secretary, blah, 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 and you fire him for discipline. And then you pay him 3-4 years later. But if you notice, all the firings are done for discipline because you cannot fire the coach. So France is very one of a kind.
At the same time,
I
it
think
makes your
that
job
for
easier. You have
both
to stick to your
cases,
coach,
coaches
basically,
and
if you're from France.
Sorry?
At the
sorry,
same
don't
time,
sorry,
it
yeah,
makes your...
Donatas. I think that
Yeah.
for both. Sorry, my connection is not good. I think that both cases for coaches and for players, Spain has very good regulation. You know, there is convenio between the association of coaches and association of players is very clear, and okay, every suppose is on the rules, and it's totally different. I think that in France and in Slovenia for sure. I don't know how it's in Lithuania.
Yeah, so the protection of the, let's say, players, coaches, whatever, it's for sure not that strict as in France, Germany. It's like, regular cases. But getting back to Donata's question about the contracts, some creativity, conditions and whatever. We usually have guarantee contracts with the players, and this is also the part of philosophy, the part of identity, that okay, we try to go with the players from the very beginning till the very end, to live and die with them. But it almost never happened that you keep the same roster. So there are some specific cases. We had few, let's say, medical reasons, or I don't know, some tryout periods. But the fun fact is that when we put the case in the contract, it always happens that we use it. And I don't know, it's karma or what, but every time it happens. Like, we have, let's say, option to cut the player until October, and somehow we cut him until October. So that means we were not sure. So
We talk about the coaches a lot, and I'm just thinking how the accountability map should look like in a healthy environment, but more from a perspective, who should hire the coach? Because, okay, it depends on the front office. If it's a big front office that has general manager, sports director, active owner, let's say, it's a different topic. Sometimes it's all on sports director or slash GM if there's only one person. But let's say, do you agree that the sports director should hire the coach, or there's the GM that should take this decision and you're working together with the head coach, or it's all on sports director's shoulders? What's the healthy accountability map, the hierarchy that you think works best in Europe?
The coach decision about the coach is decision of the club. It's not only decision of the sport director. You have to explain how the coach is to the general manager, general director, owner, president, and they have to be agree with you about this. Not with the players, in my opinion, but the coach, everybody around the club, the important person, they have to be agree with you about this. This is my idea.
For me, my experience, strong coach means strong team, strong club. So to be strong, the coach needs to be liked by the president. Normally, I put 2-3 names, and I ask the president to make the final decision. Of course, I have my ranking, we discuss, but cannot be an imposition. You can impose a player because you really believe in the player, but you cannot impose a coach, because if he doesn't like it, this job, it's built on water, so you can sink very quickly. And you need the president and the board or the sponsor to be on board with you. This is my experience. This is the best case. At least the sport director should have the veto. Say, no, this guy, no. Me and him, no. This is at least the very minimum. Because to impose a coach to a sport director, since we're going to have, I'm sure my colleagues agree, husband and wife relationship, doesn't work, because you cannot decide my wife. So it's a bit compromise.
I agree to both of my colleagues, and sometimes the decision to let's say invite the coach is also like political decision. Political, I mean political club's political decision. So president must be very strongly involved in this process. And I know some other colleagues in the really high level who worked many years as sports director, and they told me that sorry, I cannot tell you something because I never hired a coach like by myself. And he is working as a sports director more than 10 years or something, the highest level. So it's a bit complicated question. I think it combines from many pieces.
But
Yeah.
if you do your ranking, like Nicola said, and you have to present it to your ownership, what's the number one quality that you're looking of when you're hiring the coach? What's the first thing that you try your coach to fit the profile that you're looking for?
This is easy for me.
Yeah, leadership.
Go, Chechu, go.
Oh, sorry, leadership. Leadership. You know, he has to be the leader of the club, of the team. You know, but one thing is very important: the leadership starts from the knowledge. Okay, for me is okay. One word: leadership.
And what kind of leadership you're looking for? Like, to lead with his personality and knowledge, or some authority to be disciplined, or it can be a leadership, I don't know, leadership by an example or by just pure knowledge without some special charisma or the personality that coach have.
Yeah, personality is the most important in this case. Personality, it means many things, but we are talking about professional basketball. We start with they know to have a relation with the players, with the referees, with many things, But personality, you cannot have one coach without personality. It's impossible. He has to be in the locker room with 12, 14 players with different nationality, different personality. He has to have relation with 2 physios, with 1 medical, with 1 doctor, with 1 strength condition coach. No, he has to be in the top of this pyramid, He has to be the leader and with great personality, After that, he has to be very smart. Sometimes the head coach doesn't do all the job. He needs good assistant coach. I told many times, the head coach is the guy who, after the game, after the practice, he has to go to the theater, to the cinema, to work with his wife. Assistant coach, no. So he has to control all of these things, around the people that are with him, players, assistant, physios, everybody. He has to be the leader. And you need good leader, in good way.
I totally agree, because you have to be a leader throughout the ups and downs of the season. And the personality, when Chechu talks personality, it's because when you lose 3-4 times in a row, that can happen or even the best teams, you have to keep that sharpness, because and this is what is difficult, because, for example, I tell you my experience. I had to change, unfortunately, some coaches during the season, but I never change a coach because we lose. You change a coach not for what happens on the Saturday. You change the coach from what happens, at least my opinion, from what happens from Monday to Friday. So when you don't see this personality that maybe was there in August, but then the ups and downs, the roller coaster of the season kills that, and that's the moment when you have to take an extreme decision. And this is really the key to have a good season.
And I would also add that hiring the coach, it's very important that club's mentality should match to coach's mentality. For example, our example at Kabilis, I think that Nenad's mentality completely matches with the city's mentality, with the club's mentality and all the environment. that he can accept the conditions that we have around, he can accept the city, he can accept the people, and the people accept him, and it becomes easier and easier, let's say. I don't know what kind of example should I think of, but let's say Thomas Isalo, I like him a lot as a coach, yeah. In the some period of his career, would he feel well in Panevėžys, small city with no practice facility, and when you sometimes have to go to other cities for the practice, and if arena is occupied, you have to find other solutions. I think it would be tough for him to accept this. But for Nenad, it's okay. He can accept that. So the mentality matching is very important, in my opinion.
But I'm not sure that only in this way. I have the opposite experience like this, I was with one head coach that he didn't like the city, he didn't like the people, he didn't like anybody, but we won. And the gym was full. So this is very important. This is probably the most important job from the sport director, okay? This conflict between the team and the club. This is very important that I told at the beginning of this conversation. Most important thing in this basketball is we have to win, especially from the head coach. For me, okay, if he doesn't like the city, he doesn't like the people, he doesn't like paella, Valenciana, for me it's not important. We win. Okay, he has to respect the goals, the principles, everything, but this is our job.
But you agree that if the coach likes the environment, if the mentality matches, you simply increase the opportunities to win. It's not a guarantee, but it's a part of the puzzle.
Yeah, but the goal for him is win the games. If we win the games, the people will be agree with him. And he will be agree with, okay, the gym is going to be full,
What's your measurement level? What Chechu just mentioned, that it's all about winning for the head coach. What if he's not winning, but he's doing the right job in your eyes? Like he fits all the other boxes, but the result is just not there because of some reasons, or just sometimes the other team is better. What are your main red flags is the question for all of you when you actually finally have to pull the trigger and fire the head coach?
Okay, probably I was very strict, telling that, okay, only win the games. But for sure, the goal of the head coach is try to win. All the head coaches, they have to try to win all the games, even when the coach is under 14 coach, under 12 coach, under 16 coach, they have to try to win the games, all the games. This is part of the formation. Other thing in these categories, they have to know with which player they have to try to win the games. But this mentality to try to fight, to run, to defend, to win the game is very, very important from the beginning. They are playing mini basket. This is part of the formation. Okay, like Nicola told before, okay, we cannot analyze only the result. We have to be from Monday till Sunday with the team. And this is the most important part in senior basketball, professional basket, to analyze. But everybody knows that, okay, there is one moment when, we have to win. But win is part of this game, Try to win at least.
I was never in a position to fire a coach only because we were losing. That would be, for a much more aggressive club than the ones I worked for. I agree with Chechu. At the end of the day, we need to win. But again, when you have to pull the trigger, is because let's say the homeworks are not done for depression, sadness, loss of trust in the players, in the team, whatever. And then you pull the trigger. But then if the homeworks are done and the team is more or less okay, you will win. Huh? Not today, not next week, but you will win. So it's very rare that you do well and you're competitive, you're sharp, you're there is togetherness, the team is okay, and you don't win.
I think we all agree that, yeah, let's say the coach's job and the club's team job is to win, but the process is the most important part, most likely. If you have the right process, the winnings will come. I don't know, Donatas, maybe better the numbers, but I think Žalgiris lost 9 games in a row in EuroLeague with Šaras, and there was not even an idea of some changes because it was the right process, and somehow they won many games after and they reached the playoffs, winning the last 6 games. So if you have the right process, I think you just have to trust the process, go through all the negative things, and then believe the coach.
What does the right process means to you? What are the negatives you can handle and you can be patient with?
Okay, in my opinion, every team every year has some negative, how to say, negative times, let's say. You can have 3, 4, 5 losses in a row. It happens, but it can be a lot of reasons for that. Injuries, some bad trips, schedule. You can explain that. But for me, the process is that, okay, you can lose, but you see that the coach still has a team, the players still believe in coach, everything's going simply through, and okay, we are losing right now, but we know what we have to do to win, let's say, next Sunday or next EuroCup game and so on. So that's what I call the process. Then, despite the fact you're losing, you still feel that team is together, coach is having a team, and nothing is happening like a tragedy.
It's the question to all of you guys. What are the first signs of coach losing the team? I'm not talking about the extremes. If the coach lost the team, it's probably over. But what are the first signs, first signals, and what can you do about it as a sports director to prevent him from completely losing the team?
It's interesting.
I don't know, Nicola, Lucas, but in this my career as a sport director, I only got one coach. It was my first year, but it was long process, Like Nicola said, okay, I saw the practice, and I had the feeling that everything was done, Like we are telling the same, the coach needs 100% confidence from our part, for everybody. In the moment when the confidence on him is 99, it's finished, it's done. So, okay, the attitude, not only about the players, because the players are very smart and they are the first that they have the feeling that, okay, it is finished, this. But even the coach has different attitude, So when they are, okay, we cannot do more. It's about from our part, you can see the practice, and the practice are totally different. And there is very interesting thing about this. In this period, when you are in this position, you play Sunday, Monday is off, Tuesday is very good practice, Wednesday is good practice, Thursday is normal practice, Friday is bad practice, and Saturday is nothing. This is very, very clear position situation that is very, very, very bad moment. Because the coach, especially the players, they are afraid to play. Because they don't have confidence in this situation. For sure. It's like this situation.
It's a matter of energy also. You see that the energy goes down, that the coach was doing something in September and August that now is not doing. and kind of giving up. A coach that is fighting, provides solutions, has ideas, is creative, positive, or you cannot be positive if you lose 6 games, but still fighting, and you show that you are sharp and you have your eyes on the problem. Sometimes, what I do is I try to be there at every practice, but sometimes I watch games during the practice because I want to watch many. But just the sound of the practice without watching the practice tells you a lot about what's going on. If there is life, if there is interaction, if there is participation, then you don't see because you're watching your screen, but it reassures you. At least this is my opinion or my experience. This is what you have to keep in mind, because you want to really have a team that is alive and coach is there with his mind.
I cannot say much on this topic actually, because I'm lucky all the time working basically with one really great leader. But I will tell example from the other clubs, from my, let's say, talks with other sports directors, GMs, and then I completely agree that if players start complaining about the coach loudly, it's clear that coach lost the team. And then the energy, everything you mentioned, Nicole and Chechu, everything is very true. But I think the fact that if players start telling it loudly, it's a very bad sign.
Maybe it's too late.
It's too late, yeah. It's too late.
Speaking of scouting reports of the players, what are the main emphasis of your scouting reports? Do you prefer to go with a more talented player with some red flags on his intel, but higher upside, or you prefer a safer way, more limited, let's say, talent, but better character, better feedback about his personality? And what are the no-goes? Like how much are you willing to risk with some red flags that he has?
Tough to answer without.
It's too long to talk about you, Nicola. You.
Sorry, tough to answer about without the coach, because each coach has his own value that you share with him. So I can say if I'm by myself, for sure the scouting report, the biggest part is the one that you don't see. So about the intel. So what's the person behind the player? So we try always to recruit persons before players, people that care, that compete. That seems stupid, but it's very difficult to have people that compete. And then of course you have to compromise a bit for the talent, because it's more and more difficult for us that we have a small budget. Now we don't play not even a cup, to recruit talent. So you have to compromise with something else. But overall, the scouting report, I don't think I'm a very good scout personally. My colleagues are better, but I focus on having the good people, honestly, that care.
Me too. I cannot sign a bad person, For me, it's impossible. Even when the coach say, okay, no problem, I will control him. No. For me, okay, because the relation about the player is not only with the coach, it's with the other teammates and the people around the team, First thing is they have to be good person. After that, we can discuss about, the style of the game, like we told before, or the numbers. The statistics, the scouting report is important, but sometimes I follow my feeling, like a coach, So, and I don't like to try to get 100 information, 100 question about him to one people, one teammate, no. I sometimes with 2, 3 is enough,
Yeah, I agree to both of you. Actually, Intel is the most important part for me. Also, I wouldn't say that it's only good people, but I would say it's right people, like what you exactly need, because you need some leaders, you need some followers, and so on. But in general, the mentality, the values should match, and it's very important. And talking about scouting, I think Nicola told me maybe 2 years ago or something, really great advice that sometimes we try to have very wide circle of people to get the information. But in the end, it's very important to have, let's say, 5 people, 3 people that you really, really trust, and you know that, okay, my guy in Italy, for example, is Nicola, and he'll tell me about Italian market, and he'll tell me about French market as well, because I really trust him. Or in Slovenia, in Spain, Chechu is my guy, and I completely trust the guy who can help me. So it's also very, very important, because sometimes, yes, you can get a lot of information, and you can get any contact you want. Basically, in our job, it's right now it's very easy, but it's very important not only to have the contact, but also to have a relationship with the contact. And I had few examples that information from the GM sports directors were really opposite what I got and what we get after. Just because it was my mistake. I didn't have any, how to say, trustable relationship. So it was information just for information. So the circle of the people is very important.
What do you think? What is the most overrated or underrated information? Is there a such thing that people focus too much on, especially giving a feedback?
Very tricky question, actually.
Depends.
Yeah. Very good question.
It's very good question. I go back to what Lucas said. Since I have a very small circle of trust, the people that I call give me the right information, exactly what I need. Because this is, for me, it's a key for people listening. And when you do this job, you cannot call 20 people, 10 people to do what? To do a beautiful report. At the end of the day, you have to decide: do I take him or do I don't take him? So if Chechu is my guy for Slovenia, I call Chechu. Why I have to call 5 other people? So then the more you ask and the more you have a flat opinion. If we want something sharp and someone that tells you the truth, but you need to have the link, the personal, ability to enter in a good relationship with intimacy with the sport director that will tell you the truth, because very few will tell you, especially if they don't know you, this guy is an asshole, he's drunk, is always drunk. No, he doesn't play defense. You don't want to have problems. So you only tell the truth to the people that you care. This is big part of the game.
Yeah, when I call to any friend or this circle about basketball confidence people to ask about one player, my first question is, hey, I'm gonna ask you about one player. I want to know which is the first words that you think about this question. Okay, are you ready? So the first word sometimes for this, about this player, for me is very important. Okay, tell me your opinion. The player is Jonas Jorgescu. Don't sign. Okay, great. Okay. For me, with this kind of people, it is important, How is the first reaction, Oh, if they start to, okay, probably you put him with this point guard, okay, no. Tell me your first words about this.
True. It's the first impression, first reaction is extremely important. But actually, I have a 3 yes rule. So I have 3 questions for myself. First of all, can the player play in the environment that we are? Let's say yes. Can he play at this level where we are? Yes. And the third yes should be, can he accept the role that we want to see him? And it's not only the role of, I don't know, leader, scorer, whatever, but maybe can the player accept to be last player in the roster and be happy of that? So if I have those 3 yes, then I can move forward the player and get deeper and deeper and deeper. But that Chechu's example with first reaction is also very important, and sometimes you don't even think about that. But if the guy that you really trust say, okay, great guy, he can be a part of your team, sign him if you can, sign him, whatever, it gives you a big influence actually.
There are
But
teams.
we never, none of us answered your question, Donato. So sorry.
No, you basically answered it, asking for the first impression. That's actually a good one, because I was about to change the question. What are your first 2 questions that you're making while during the call? So, first impression question is quite a good one to start the conversation about the player and to see all the red flags and things that you might go with as well.
I have one other question actually, which is always a tricky one, but I really like it. Does the player have any strange habits? And it was from my experience. We had one player. I was getting the information of him, and all the information was extremely professional. He takes care of his body a lot, and all the positive information. But when he came, we see that simply he is strange. He is the one who goes alone to the forest. He is the one who goes to some painting lessons and so on. He was very good guy, and all my sources, what they told me was true, actually. But in the end, he was very strange. And I asked all those sources, why you didn't tell me this before? And the answer was, because you didn't answer. So, okay, now I add this question, just in general, just to ask, does he have any strange habits? 95% of the respondents say, no, why are you asking this? But those 5% say, yeah, he has the strange habits. For example, he is not cutting his nails. And it becomes a problem because he sometimes misses some period of the game. And automatically you cannot sign that player. So there are so many off the record basically examples that I got the answers that we really liked the player, we really liked everything about him, but that question, does he have any strange habits, basically killed the deal.
So if your source told you that, okay, he's a good guy, but he just likes to go to the forest alone, he likes painting and stuff, do you consider this as a red flag? How does it change your perspective on the player, whether you want to sign him or not?
Depends. Does he go to the forest just for a walk, or he's the guy who's like, how to say, completely different from all the other guys? Then you have to evaluate. And that, let's say, stranger guy that we had, he was the one who in the end became a glue guy, and all those all these things that were strange, let's say, they even united others. It was a successful season, everybody started laughing, he completely accepted that, and everything was fine. But it was a lesson for me for the future that if we don't have the, let's say, successful period, those things that are completely opposite that other guys have, they can simply trigger the team. And it can be a factor.
Do you guys play this puzzle? Because having 12 great guys is not necessarily a winning formula. Do you play this personality puzzle that I need 6 great guys, I need 2 silent guys, 2 loud speakers, trash talkers, 1 bad guy to spark the energy, to give some energy? Do you play this puzzle? Is there any formula that makes into the winning formula?
We use a bit also
Donata, there is very, very clear. Sorry.
No, I was just saying.
There is very important difference, there is very important difference. One thing is a strange people, a strange guy, or bad person. If a strange guy, okay, we are a strange person, but it's okay. He can do. I remember many years ago. Okay, probably was 20 years ago, more, 20 years ago. In Valencia, they invited us to go to one feria, very important feria. We are 12 players. 11 of them were together drinking. It's what 2:00 in lunchtime. And where is this guy? Where is this guy? And he was in the corner making sudokus. Everybody, what is this? He's strange because everybody was happy, we're together, but everybody respect him as person. He's not like us, but he was very good player and very good person. He can go to the forest, to the mountain alone, but one thing is bad person, other thing is a strange person, Everybody cannot be the same like us,
I would say I don't play that puzzle, but I think that having those two alpha dogs is enough in the team. The ones who, are true leaders about themselves. And if you have 3, 4, 5, it can really become a mess. For example, you have 4 players that are oriented, to be the leading scorers. It can be tough for the team. And that's why I think that roles are extremely important. It's not a puzzle, but it's more about the roles, let's say, in the team. And I try to avoid, let's say, having more than 2 those who really self-oriented.
We use for this a bit the disc analysis. That is really a puzzle with the colors, and this quite helps. And sometimes when you start with the coach, and then you give him the team of the color he wants. But for example, if you're a bit familiar with the colors, I'll go briefly. There is the yellow, that are the people that see the opportunity, always positive. We have, we lost by 30. Yeah, but they will be more motivated to bounce back. Or then there is the blue, that is the introvert, the one that needs to know all the information, otherwise doesn't move one step. Then there is the red, that is there, that he thinks the team is there for him, is lone wolf, selfish, etc. And there is the green, empathy guy, and peaceful. So you have normally a mix. The most coaches want blue team, so they can coach everything. For example, we have Marcus Keane, that is clearly red. Coach is more red than Marcus Keane, but that's it. Then you cannot sign no more reds, because then, as Lucas was saying, then you have too many that thinks for, let's say, in a selfish way or in their own way. So this, we found that it's quite interesting to use.
Let's say the season is over. You didn't win a championship, so the final result cannot be the final measurement of your job. But what defines to you the sports director's success? When do you feel you did the right job, you did a good job that season, and when you feel that you failed as a sports director? What metrics should boards also use to evaluate sports directors?
Interesting. Chechu, you start.
Okay, we have to evaluate the result of the team. For sure, the result of the team will be important because we build the team to this, and we have to evaluate the development of the players, During the season, there are many things that we cannot control. We cannot control the injuries. We cannot control, I don't know, if you say, who can control this basket from Rafa Lut last weekend? Nobody, But this is basketball, so some days it's going to be favored for you, other games will be against you. But we have to analyze for sure. The first thing is the result of the team, because you build the team to go to get this, and the other is you have to evaluate the players, because it is very important. You give the players to the coach in August, and these players, this is very important, must be in June better players. This is the main job of the coach, plus win the games. Okay, but you during the season analyze the work of the coach, and if you accept, okay, my mistake is impossible to improve this player, it is your mistake. If the coach is doing a good job, show results and the value of the players that you gave to the coach in the last August.
That's true. I agree to Chechu, but okay, if we talk about the situation that we haven't achieved the result we wanted, then we analyze why. And if we haven't achieved because of sports director decision for some changes, let's say that disbalance the team, or in the beginning the sports director didn't do a right scouting and we had, I don't know, 2 cancers in the team, for example. I think that's the result of a bad season of sports director. Because if you didn't win the championship or didn't achieve the result you wanted, the final one, because of few injuries, of some unlucky situations, whatever, can happen many things, you know. Okay, it's life, it's basketball, and some things you cannot control. But if you didn't achieve the result because of the decisions you could control and you make the wrong ones, and it was your decision, you have to take the responsibility that you...
Yeah.
True. It's about, I think, a number of situations, depending also on the teams, because again, in France, for example, it's not only about the winning, it's the satisfaction of the shareholders, the sponsors, and as Lucas was saying, you have to be careful not to fuck up with the main things, that not bring bad people, don't compromise with the identity of the club. Clubs here are run like institutions. And some compromises that we did, that I did in Italy, here I cannot do. It's very different. And for example, in France, stability is a big value. In Italy, they don't care about stability. They want to win on the Sunday. They don't even know what's going to happen Monday. But it's different. But I agree with the thing of the building the roster. It's like a bit of the Pareto rule. It's 20% of what we do, but appears like the 80%. Then we do so many other things that can impact how we are evaluated. Also in relationship with the money that we have, because if you have the 10th budget, you can do playoff, it's okay. 12, it's okay. You just don't have to go down, or if you have, depends also what's the goal of the team overall.
Chechu, Nicola, you're both working abroad, and you could help us to describe what's the difference to work abroad compared to your country. And let's say Lucas got the job somewhere outside Lithuania. What's your first advice, what he should know working abroad, and how to build trust where circles are local and you're not local?
Okay, this is important. I think that it's not the same to work in Spain than in Slovenia, but for sure it's not the same to work in Italy than in France, or in Spain like in Lithuania like in Germany. It's important to, when you go to other country, to try to understand the philosophy, the mentality of this country. And okay, sometimes I think that you need 6, 7 months, 5 months to understand how different is the philosophy in one country or the other. For me, about in my job, in my position, about the first thing is not so different. It's different, the budget for sure. In Cedevita, Olimpija, we don't have the same budget. And in Valencia, the competition is different basketball. for me, the biggest difference was around the philosophy of the youth program about the young players. And okay, till now, okay, I'm trying to I don't want to say fight, but I'm trying to change some things in this idea, you know, that I have, and it's different here. I don't know if I will do or not, you know, because okay, this is my second season and I have to know more things. But from the first thing, okay, I think that my job is more or less similar.
I think, yeah, we all three live in an English bubble with a coach with whom you speak English and players who speak English. So this aspect is same. But the thing is, when you go abroad, you never have to forget that you are a foreigner. They consider you a guest, more or less.
It is true. It is true.
You are a guest, huh? You don't. So after, okay, I'm already season 6, so now it's different. But first of all, you have to understand which are the values of the place, and it happens that there are very, very different values. Okay, I come from the north, I work in Avellino, that it's another world. It's like 2 different countries. But here it's very, very different. And you never have to forget that you cannot impact, or you cannot use, say, force them too much, because you are seen as a foreigner. So in a very gentle way, you have to get them on your side. For example, to go concrete, French people don't like confrontation. Me, I love confrontation. So before going straight, you have to be kind, you know. So because I really feel that I come from south of Europe, these people are different, but doesn't mean that they don't care. You have to touch different buttons, and never forget that you come from abroad. But it's a matter of being a bit elastic, flexible, and it's not for everybody, honestly, Donatas, to go abroad. It's not for everybody.
So, Lucas, we're happy that you're still in Lithuania. You're 34. And tell us what works in gaining credibility being so young in front of the team, working with the GM, for example, like Jonas Mačiulis or Martynas Parlys previously, and also trying to gain this credibility with the ownership as well. What did you notice? What works the best to gain that credibility being young?
Well, okay, first of all, I think my road is more difficult than most of other sports directors, because I wasn't a professional player. And what I can say that for me, first of all, was very important to get a chance. And it's really tough, let's say, in this business. I was very lucky to get a chance, and then I was simply doing everything on my power to not make others doubt about me. If I have to go to pick up the player, for example, 4 a.m. in the morning, I will go to pick up him. If my phone is ringing, I will pick up the phone immediately. There are no Sundays, no Mondays, no Tuesdays. There is a job that we have to do. And that gave me like a basis to have the trust, from the ownership, from the GM. And then you get some confidence that, okay, you go through that, you still keep doing that, but your, I cannot say status, but influence, let's say, is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I think that it doesn't sound so smart, but basically that hard work that you do every day, it gives you the basis. And especially in my situation, when I really have a longer way. For example, some player finishes the career and immediately he becomes a sports director. I needed more than 6 years to become a sports director, 6 years in one club, basically. Before I was a marketing manager, team manager, and my responsibilities were growing every year just because of the trust from the people that I was working, together. So I think this is my key, how I go, and if I get a chance in, let's say, higher level, I will keep the same way. I'll keep doing the same things. And I also have the motto that nobody is higher than a club. Not a player, not a coach, not a manager, GM, sports director, whatever. Club is the highest thing, in this business. So basically what I try to do is just to give my best to the club, and others don't have a space to doubt. So
If you guys all started all over again working in this business, but let's say you have this experience of knowing the whole journey that you have to go, what would be the smart shortcuts you would take to be better in this business? Let's say where you would focus more or where you would spend less time and energy on.
Your questions generate a lot of silence because we think.
okay, I'll start.
Yes,
Sean.
I think that I will.
No, Chechu,
You,
go.
Lucas.
No. I think you can go.
No. Okay. I think that every situation is different. You have to know that I started. I was in Valencia like assistant coach 10 years, and from one day to the other day till the next day, I was assistant coach, and one day later I was a sport director. So I knew all the things around the team. But for me now, for me it's very important from our part, control, decide, choose all the people around the team. For me, this is key. When I talk about this, I'm talking about physios, doctor, team manager. We have to try to control, or at least to try to have full confidence in these people. Because these people can send our job, team job, to the seat. And these people, many times, they have great relation, big control with the owner, with the president, with all these people. Okay. This is for me very, very specific, but very, very, very important decision. And we have to take this decision.
What about Lucas and Nicola?
Many of them say, okay, you don't know anything about medicine. Okay, it's true. You don't know anything about this. It's true. But okay, I have to control this. It's good, no good. These people are key for our job and team job.
If I remember well, the question, it was about the shortcut. Yes, Donata. So
there are no shortcuts, right?
It can be, but it's the thing is that you understand what are the shortcuts later, and that's the problem. So for every, let's say, young manager or the students that contact me, I always say that build your network. Build your network as soon as possible. I think that I could start doing it a bit earlier, and it maybe would be my shortcut because I had the basis from the very beginning. But first 3 years when I was working in professional level, I didn't go wider. Let's say I didn't go EuroLeague, NBA, some other colleagues in foreign clubs. I was more local, and I could be really, really more wider. So that maybe would be my shortcut if I could turn back the time.
Build networking with the foreigners earlier, let's say, right?
Yeah.
Okay, makes sense.
think both positions are perfect. In fact, surround yourself with love, with people that trust you, that will push the team, that will not judge. That's a focus, and focus on the network, because when you are by yourself, this job is difficult because, okay, coaches are alone, but we are also alone, and nobody understands us more than us. So you need to talk people, because only Chechu Luca knows how you feel shit when you lose 5 games in a row. And you cannot share this with your president, with the sponsor. No, because here they're all upset with you. So the network is very, very important. And I would add a last one, that I would have cared less and less about what other people say. At the beginning, you care about the social media, the forum, this is human, but this part you have to cut immediately, because it's a distraction, and instead of reading the forum, you have to call Chechu for advice, or Lucas. This is what I would do if I was younger.
Okay, makes sense. And the last one from my side for the buzzer: who is your GOAT of sports directors in Europe? Each of yours.
If I don't say Maurizio Gherardini, that is from my village, I get ejected from the chat. So I guess Maurizio, for me, is amazing. Gives a lot of good advices. Definitely, now is going in a different career path. So for the talent, I would say Daniele Baiesi is an inspiration.
For me, it's easy, actually. Yeah, Maurizio is the one that, is really an example. But those two guys, Nicola and Chechu, are also my mentors, basically. When I really need some advice or something, they're on top of my list. So I'm really thankful for them. And I also want to mention one more guy. Is my first GM is Martinas Purlis, the one who really gave me the basics, the one who teach me a lot, and the one that I respect a lot as well, and he was the guy who had the biggest influence in my career, because every day we had opportunity to work together, we had opportunity to stop to discuss things, and now I understand how it was important for me, especially in the beginning, to have the guy close to me who has that much experience and has these good values that he has. So I think that, yeah, it's like that, like those two guys, Maurizio and Martinez.
Chechu, who was yours?
All of us are agree about, okay, Mauricio is one, okay, idol for us, for me too, how he is, his attitude, his body language in both situation, in the win, in the lose, he's great, he's great. There are many great sport directors in Europe. Nicola, Lucas, he's gonna be for sure. He's young, but okay. My goal is to be happy to stay in Cedevita Olimpija many years and try to learn from everybody one thing every day, and it's for me it's enough,
Okay, so we're sending the game to overtime, and I think that's where Yonut has some questions from the hub members, right?
Yes, and what a game! What a game and what a overtime! Thank you, guys. It's 1 hour and 40 minutes, and I believe that there are so many valuable lessons that you guys share without even knowing that you are sharing a lesson or giving an advice to someone. But we are all grateful for this insightful conversation. It was absolutely awesome. Okay, let's pick three questions. I got one about coaches that was interesting. What are the most three of what are the three most important questions you ask in the interview for hiring the head coach, especially for Nicola and for Chechu, because Lucas, you didn't get there yet and you don't want to get on that spot here.
True.
So, top three questions to ask.
One very important is how he will practice and how is going to be the role of the staff. For me, it is very important. There are some coaches that the assistant coach, other assistant coach are only in the half court and they are talking between each other. And I like the coach split the responsibility with the staff. For me, is very, very, very important. For me, it's very important how is his personal life, because like they say, how is he with the medial social, how is his nice life, no nice life, something like this. I want to know how he is. And the other thing I want to ask him how is his reaction. I like the guys who are positive guys. Okay, this is the problem, this is the mistake, but this is the solution. When you sit with one guy and he only say to you, this is the problem, this is bad, this is the mistake. Okay, yeah, but we need this kind of because he's gonna be the leader of one group, and we have to get this information how he is in this case. But okay, you asked me about three, we can talk about some more of them,
Great, Nicola.
It's for me basically I don't believe much in interviews, especially with coaches. We are all very good with interviews, but you don't know the person sitting next to you until you don't lose 4 or 5 games in a row. Then you know the person, not with the interview. So I believe that you have to do very good homework, but then the interview is just for me to set the rules and say, hey, this is like this is like that, and these are the limitations of the club. I want to feel enthusiasm, because by the moment he signs, the relationship twist. You choose him, this is at least for me, you choose the coach, but then you serve the coach, but then you judge him, but then you basically he's the boss. So you're there to serve him. So you have to tell, this is your garden, the limit. So it's more one way thing. This is the limit for the market. This is what I don't want you to do in the summer. Do you agree with this? Do you accept? And then you build the rules for the relationship. But interviews, I don't really like. I want enthusiasm, because season is long and difficult.
Great. Let's go to the second question from Alexander. This first one was from Dan. Any interesting ways to resolve conflict with a player who doesn't fit in with the team as a whole and is holding the team back and becoming toxic?
Lucas.
Any interesting ways to make a conflict? Then understand you correctly?
No. To solve a situation with the player who doesn't fit in with his role and being on the edge to become toxic for the team. That office conversation, or I don't know.
I think that the first conversation should be not the office conversation, but a human conversation, and talk openly. Just to hear why is that happening, to express openly what do you think, and discuss the ways how to solve it, because as I said, nobody is higher than a club, than a team. So I think it's like in every job, first of all you have to talk, and if it doesn't help, then okay, there are other ways.
Maybe you have to try to be empathic, understand why is toxic, what's wrong. But then if there is nothing wrong, then you have to be an asshole and be more toxic than him to correct it very quickly.
Yeah, I agree. Totally agree. Nothing more.
Okay, from Marlin, do you use data and analytics in your jobs? And if yes, how do you use it? Or what kind of tools do you normally use?
Yes, I using, but I using during the year, during the season, about our team and some specific players that I'm following. But to sign this player, I'm not. For me, it's not the so important. For me, it's more important. Like we told before, my feeling about them, how is our coach, everything, and many things of this don't be in the data. So, okay, for me it's important, but not to sign, not especially the most important thing to sign the player.
I'm saying. I agree.
Yeah, it's not the most important thing, but actually right now I want to learn more about that. I use the data, I use those, analytics, but just more in basic level. It's just for my, let's say, curiosity. Right now, I want to learn more, and I have two guys who will try to mentor and teach me on this part as well. But I don't know how will it be important, let's say, in decision making and all the process, but somehow I have the curiosity to know more.
Excellent. And the last one is a mix of a few questions here. When do you involve the coach in the recruiting process? And I would add on that, do you present a short list with the players after you discuss with the coach the profiles of each positions that you are looking for, or when do you involve the coach?
Yeah, from the beginning. To sign one player, you go, you have to talk with him from the beginning. But okay, you cannot talk with him about 20 players. Coach, we have this option, 2 players, 3 players. Okay, what do you think about them? You have to control this information. It's opposite that you are going to talk about this with the general director. He will choose for sure the cheaper player, the cheapest one. But with the coach, okay, no, we cannot show him this. We have 20 options. No. You have to choose before. This is your job. After that, you can discuss with him about this. Okay, this guy is like this. He is gonna be like this. His defense is like this. Okay, you can talk with him about this. But okay, from the beginning, he has to be involved of this. Okay, the first process is your process. You can offer him 20 options, maximum 2, 3. I think more than 3 is not good.
Personally,
He will choose defensive.
exactly. Personally, I like to do this job during the season, the earliest possible, and we start discussing. We are already discussing local players for next year, quite advanced. But also to say, hey, there is this guy I don't know in Italy too. Watch him. So if you do it now, it's easy. There is, as Chechu said from the beginning, there is time to digest. There is no pressure. Also, we play once a week, so he has time. And you build the moment, so then in March, April, you are already effective. The dream is to keep the same coach and work together and not switch, because this gives you a huge advantage.
Okay.
Yeah, for example, I follow the players during the season, and let's say in January we have the first conversations with the coach about the next year. What kind of team we want to see, what kind of profiles of players we want to have, and what can we improve comparing to this season or last season, and what we have to add. So, okay, I filtered the players, but for me it's pretty easy to filter the players when you have the bond with the coach, and you know who can play for him and you know who cannot play for him. And you filter that, and from the very beginning, every signing, every decision, every move you do together with the coach. As I said, coach is like your driver, and then I really believe in that philosophy that management corpus and the coach, they have to build the roster together.
Excellent. A bonus
And
one.
there
It's
is
a
the
short.
other possibility, Jonu, too. The other possibility is during the season when the coach say to you, okay, they told me that this player is very good. You have to follow this player. We have to try to sign this player. Hey, coach, be careful. We are talking about one player in February, you know. This is normal conversation, but in the moment when you have to take decision, okay, you have to discuss with him everything and every possibility that you have, even when you have to try to sign again your player, renew your player, no?
You're right, Chechu. Thank you for this follow-up. The last one, it's a short one. It's a start bench cuts. Sports directors, you are participating, you are going for scouting and networking reasons to various tournaments, various events. So I want you to choose between the NBA Summer League, the G League Showcase, and the Portsmouth Invitational Tournament. Start, bench, and cuts. Let's see what are the priorities for you from your experience all these years going to these events. Nicola, I think you want to start.
It depends where you work. If you are in Strasbourg, priority is the PIT, then eventually the G League Showcase, and for sure not the Summer League, because Summer League is too late, and it's the moment of the market when everybody is awake with the money in the pocket, and by then we need to have already 8 players minimum, because we cannot compete with the people that are in Las Vegas. If I was in a better position financially, probably it would be different, but this is my ranking.
I prefer Europe. I never been in Las Vegas, like Nicola said. For me, Las Vegas, okay, it's not priority. I prefer Europe.
So Adidas Next Generation, Treviso, or just going and scouting?
No, I'm talking about the players who were playing in Europe, you know. Okay, I prefer to sign players from Spain, France, Lithuania, Germany. Okay, this is my idea, but okay, it's same idea like our coach, you know.
Okay, knowing our concept, the Summer League is number 1 for me, because over there you meet all the people that you want, basically, and there is a small chance that you will sign someone from Summer League, but you can start, building your database for the future, and it's the same with PAT or G League. But the thing that if I have to choose from those 3 events, the top event, for me, the top one is the Summer League, because I meet all the people that I want in one place. And
because you're 34, you're lucky. So that's why you want to go there. And I tell you once, you will be the same. First time I went to Summer League, I wrote Nicola Alberani, Roma. Beautiful. Everybody was stopping me. Last Summer League I wrote agent, because nobody wants to talk to agents. I didn't even write my name, so I can walk calmly. So maybe in 10 years we will meet and you will give us the answer.
Okay, but what I see now, that 4 or 5 days in Summer League is really enough, because after you don't have energy for nothing, not for scouting, not for talking. So you have to be very short, concrete, but sharp, as you say.
Donatas, the last take of this webinar, of this roundtable of sports directors, and you can all have a last message, maybe also for our community. We are now 36 from 33 different countries, federations, clubs, and academies, and we are all very, very grateful. Those who are here live from Japan, I see so many countries, from Mexico, I've seen, Europe, and so on. We are very, very grateful for the basketball and life experience that you offered us this evening, and really, I think that this session it's a great educational tool for the young GMs, young sports directors, coaches, and so on, who would like to pick the brains of free top-level professionals. So again, very, very grateful for your time.
Yeah, really, it was a very quality time, guys. Thank you all for talking, discussing, sharing, and especially to those who were listening and joining us this night.
Thanks to everybody. Really, I enjoyed this very organic talk. It was a pleasure, and I really appreciate the time we spent.
Me too. Thank you for everybody. And okay, this was the first time. I hope to do again during the future. Okay. All of you are invited to come to Ljubljana.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. And it was a big pleasure to talk almost 2 hours with you guys. And I hope it was nice to listen as well.
Let's make
Thank you,
another
guys.
roundtable live in Ljubljana or Alicante next time.
Let's do it. Let's do it. In the meantime, don't forget to become a part of the Basket News community. Become a BN Plus member because they are giving you a lot of content. Donatas is a part of my life and his crew every single day with the great content they come up and the podcast and so on. So for the real basketball junkies, the real basketball lovers, don't forget to go to Basket News/plus and become a member. Did I say it right, Donatas?
You're the best, Janot. You're the best. Thanks a lot. Hopefully nobody got arrested during this conversation. Let's check the news.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night. Bye-bye.